Hey guys, this is my rough smelting setup. I'm doing aluminum right now. So I've got a bucket of cans. Coal setup, I'm running charcoal right now, and this stuff is pretty crappy, honestly. It's a lot of pine, and I've even got sawdust in there. Whatever. It's free to make, and it does the trick. So that's my crucible in there. You can see it's starting to get pretty hot now. I got the lid on it, so I'm not getting embers and stuff mixed in with the molten material. I've got to scrape dross here in a second, but looking pretty good. On the underside, this is my twee setup. So I had to add a damper to this one, which is this. This little lever here. It's my secondary damper. It's my blast gate. Normal foot pedal setup. I got my blower over there. My blower is about half open, I think, more or less. Anyways, thanks for letting me into the group. I'll send you guys some pictures when this batch is done. We'll see how we're looking. I gotta stir this real quick, but I'm pretty smelty. Alright guys, appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Part 2, I guess, kind of regarding fuel. Obviously this fuel setup is not ideal. It's kind of a pain in the butt to work with, honestly. But like I said, it's free. My next batch is like legitimate charcoal. This batch I just wanted to get rid of. It's sawdust and pine and crap. Aluminum really doesn't need to be that hot though, so as long as you can maintain that. I like to run it at around 1400, just so it melts a little bit faster. Kind of helps me burn off some of the impurities. So as long as you can maintain that temperature, it doesn't really matter if it's fun to shovel or if it's easy to shovel. You know, that doesn't matter, as long as you can maintain that temperature. This batch, what I like about this setup is that I can do, well, this is the tray that I use, and then I refine them with a propane foundry. I can do about theoretically 20 pounds in that tray. I usually only do about 15 pounds. So that's an entire trash can worth of cans. At least 1,000 cans, and I can do it in one setting. I haven't tried to do that much volume with my propane setup yet. I might give that a shot, but I think the coal setup is a little more efficient, I think. So let's check that real quick. Let's get on the actual thing. So right around there, 1400. Depends where I'm hitting, but there you go. Yeah, it's obviously hot enough. Anyways, the fuel source is not great there, but cheap and free, and these cans have so much crap in them that I kind of don't want to waste the propane on doing that first smelt with a propane foundry. I can burn off all that paint and plastic for free with some sawdust and some cheap lumber, and then take what I do get out, take it back into the shop and run it through propane. So anyways, hope you appreciate that. Part 3 with the fuel. Obviously this is pretty junky fuel. Let me get my thing in there. My fire's burning pretty hot though. kind of hard to aim this while I'm recording, but if I actually get into the fire, 1900 is the max that it's seeing. There you go, 2100. So crappy fuel. It's a pain to keep reloading it all the time, but plenty hot enough to melt aluminum. Some of that heat loss is on the crucible itself, but by the time it gets to the aluminum, we're sitting pretty toasty at 1300. So I'll post more later. Alright guys, part number 4. I'm about to finish this pour. I've got a few cans in there that I need to stir and scrape the dross. This thing was full when I started. That's what I got left. So kind of whittled it down. I did pull out some usable material. Sorry for the light there. There's some usable material in there. I'll take a better picture tomorrow, but for the most part, that's dross. You know, there's not a whole lot of waste in there. Fuel, I was just going till I used all that up. I still got some shit in this barrel that I'm gonna mix into the next batch, but would like to be done with that soon. Let's pop the lid there and look at that real quick. I've got to stir this one more time before I pour it, but should be looking pretty good. One thing that I like about this setup is that you can load a lot of cans. I'm not wearing gloves, so this is getting a little hot. You can load a lot of cans in there. I like to keep all my dross on one side and just kind of see what's going to melt off of that before I actually scrape it out. So I got all that packed in one corner there. Give it a second just to see if anything else is going to melt off, you know. Wad of material. There's a little bit of usable stuff in there. You can see it dripping off, but pretty minimal waste overall, I think. That's what the propane part is for. I'm not even gonna pause this actually. So this is my mold, which is obviously empty. Let's see what we can get out of this. I kind of do want some gloves for this process, actually. At least one. like that's a wrap. You might have seen me at the end there. I was scraping out the inside of my crucible. Try to keep that shit as clean as possible. This design, I know I collect aluminum at the spout there, so I didn't scrape that because that's all going to be pure aluminum. So I'll pull that sheet out after it cools off. Charcoal, so I'm going to let it burn out. I've got a lid to smother it, but I don't want to take my crucible off just yet. One thing that I do like about charcoal versus coal is that, especially when your pot takes up the whole fire pot, I don't need to scrape slag or clinker all the time. I can just keep loading it, and the way I'm loading it, I'm just popping it up on this end and dumping it in underneath, but I don't need to scrape out clinker or anything like that. So that is one reason why I do prefer charcoal over coal. This is what I got out of it though. Let me see if I can kick on the flash. There you go. So each of these trays is roughly 3.5 pounds. So I try not to overfill them because they don't fit in the crucible for my propane foundry. So I try not to fill them to the brim. But looks like I've got 1, 2, 3 that are 3/4 full, 2 1/2 full, and then a drop. So probably 14 pounds. We can measure it later, but probably 14 pounds there. Not a bad session. Like I said, starting with a full trash can down to that. That was about 2.5 hours of smelting. Let's see. Yeah, 2 hours 45 minutes. So, anyways, I think that's it. Let me know if you guys have questions or anything. If you'd like to learn anything about my system, I've learned a lot from other smelters, blacksmith guys that know metal. So this is kind of my variation on all that. So hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.